That actually this is all leading to yet another G20 summit of finance leaders in Scotland to come. What has been resolved? Well, this pledge of more than $1 trillion through the International Monetary Fund to boost the world economy. That is the headline, if you like. Let's talk to Stephanie Flanders, our economics editor, who can deal with some of these issues. Macro has never been so macro, Steph.
It's all getting pretty macro. We're now it seems like every week we're talking about trillions rather than billions, and it used to be that we talked about millions. Just in terms of, I've got the communique, the agreement that has been fought over all these hours and weeks of this meeting. Going through it, it's pretty much as we thought, at least as we thought an hour ago. It's 750 billion for the IMF, or at least they're going to treble the amount, so that's an extra 500 billion, if you like, for the IMF, so that it will have 750 billion available. There's 250 billion in the special drawing rights, the sort of overdraft facility, if you like, for all of the members of the IMF, but particularly helpful for middle-income countries who are having trouble getting access to finance at the moment. What we didn't know about until just before the press conference started was $100 billion of new lending for the multilateral development banks. That's the World Bank, the Asian Development Bank. Now, a lot of the aid groups were waiting for that because we knew there was going to be a promise from the leaders here that they would stick to their aid promises that they've made to the poorest countries, but this is also a commitment that they're going to do extra. They're going to make available more lending for those countries because they won't necessarily benefit from some of the other things that are announced today. That'll be important for a lot of those groups. There's also a little bit more of IMF lending to the poorest countries that we didn't know about. So all added together, as you suggested, it's $1.1 trillion. If you think about the big issues that we were talking about going into this summit, the stimulus, how much fiscal stimulus governments were going to commit to, it's pretty much as we thought. There isn't a hard and fast commitment for countries to do more to expand their economies, but there's a pretty solid commitment that they will do more as necessary, that they won't close off the option of doing more as long as it fits within their budgets, as long as they're able to do it. That's important for a lot of countries. There's also, on this tax haven issue, it does look like, obviously we'll have to wait for the fine print, it looks like President Sarkozy did win something of a victory. There was an issue, the final issue over tax havens was whether the non-cooperating tax havens who hadn't signed up to this agreement that was about sharing information, whether they were going to be named and shamed, whether there was going to be a list published. Well, that list has been published today, according to the communique, as a result of this meeting. So I think Nicolas Sarkozy, of course, some would say he was going to get it all along, but he has won that victory. I think those are the most those important things of what we're looking at coming out of this. A lot on the financial sector, on having tougher rules and more regulation for hedge funds, things like that. But those are the headlines I'm looking at right here.
Steph, thanks very much. Incredibly dense stuff, this, just to start wading through. Certainly those indications from Stephanie that President Sarkozy got what he wanted in terms of regulation. Angela Merkel, the German Chancellor, said a short while ago these measures would provide a cleaner financial market architecture. Well, at the same time as Gordon Brown was speaking, coincidentally, President Sarkozy, in another part of this huge Excel centre, was also giving a press conference. Let's listen to what he had to say during that.
We'll be